turning, going by the by, but it will not live. Feelings turning, but it hasn't died, and it fills a need. You're gonna say the words, but only I know what they mean. This time there are no guarantees. And you say it's all been done, like a race already run. But you never draw the line. Hey, what I do with my own time. You're gonna say the words, but only I know what they mean. This time there are no guarantees. You're gonna say the words, but only I know what they mean. This time there are no guarantees.
Hello, Carnies, and welcome to Sideshow. Joe, I had no idea you could sing that well.
Neither did I.
That was really impressive.
Thank you. You're welcome.
I mean, everything about that is just surprising and shocking.
You're right.
Your talent's never ending.
Non-ceasing.
And with that, we'd like to welcome our buddy Dave to the podcast. Dave of the Rationales.
Dave, did you like the way I played and sang?
It was
just now?
amazing. It was inspiring. In fact, it gave me a song idea.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, please.
Thank you.
Introduce yourself to the three people listening, Dave.
Yeah.
Mom, this is Dave. Go ahead.
Hi, Mom. So, hi, everybody. What do you want me to say?
That's it. Right. Good night.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Thank you.
So this is the first time we've tried having a person with any musical ability on the show at all.
Oh,
whatsoever.
come on now. You play the spoons like nobody I've ever seen.
Nobody's business. But our buddy Dave is here on Sideshow. Dave has a gig tonight at the Middle East Cafe. Everybody has to go. Joe and I will be going there. We'll be moshing in the front row. Maybe, bring the significant others. But Dave has been in the music scene in Boston forever. I think ever in 2 days.
2 days. Yeah.
Dave's band has. So tell us a little bit about the new release. Is this song that you just played off the new release? Give us a little background.
That song wasn't actually. That's one of the older songs. Figured I'd save the new
good
stuff for
okay.
later. But yeah, so the band's the Rationales. We've been around for about 10 years, different members, but it's been like 5 years with the lineup we have now, and this is our fourth release. It's coming out tonight at the Middle East, and we're really excited about it.
So when I was telling Joe, it's like, hey, we were getting together a few weeks ago, going over the schedule. I'm like, my buddy Dave, who he's met you before because you played with us for a while. Mm-hmm. I see he has a CD release coming out, and Joe's like, they still have CD releases, and we were like, do you call it a download party? I mean, it's like we actually are holding the CD in our hand, but is there a new terms? I mean,
I call it a record release. I mean, there was a lot of discussion about whether we should bother making CDs. I like having something physical because I feel like downloads, people say that that's what people do, but I feel like you don't know what happens. You don't know if somebody's listening to the CD either, I guess. But I'd rather have a physical thing that I can hold and have later.
I don't want Apple telling me when I can't.
Yeah.
Listen to my own damn music.
Exactly.
God damn,
having it disappear out of your library. But
right.
it's much easier for, promo. It's much easier to actually have a physical thing tonight at the show. I mean, if you're selling download cards, people are like, oh yeah, download cards, great.
Right.
Whereas
I have to do work.
Yeah.
I can't get in the car right now and listen to this on the drive
Although
home.
the thing I'm finding out is that these came in the mail 2 weeks ago, and I was like, gave one to my fiance, and she's like, I don't have a CD player.
Yeah.
And then I gave one to my other friend, and he's like, I don't have a CD player. There's literally nowhere I can listen to this.
Wow.
But I do. I still have CD.
But aren't they like the next version of Apple?
Actually, can you put the CD right now in your MacBook?
I cannot.
Why?
Yeah.
because it does not have a CD drive in it.
Right.
You know, wow, I still have it in the car, but you know,
Right.
who knows?
Gee, don't let go of that car.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold on.
So we might have got 1,000 coasters, but we'll find out. We'll find out tonight.
The
But-
artwork is good because I like having something tangible. As Jacques knows, I like collecting things that are a little obscure, but I like having the physical copy of things, and
Yeah.
even like just having artwork on something.
I mean,
Just-
is that the generational thing? Like, because that's how I am. I mean,
Yeah.
I have a friend who made a living for 30 years, and his expertise was he was a liner note writer for big bands. He was an editor, he was a writer, he did all that stuff. Even through like the early 2000s. He was writing the liner notes for all the box sets for the DVDs we did for the Universal groups. It was an art, and it was great to get it, to read these little stories, to see the pictures and stuff like that. And I miss the days of holding record albums.
Yeah.
That's like sometimes when you're 12 and you're going into, let's say, a Sam Goodies,
what's that? Oh yeah,
one of our sponsors.
Strawberries.
Goody got it.
Goody got it. Goody. You would literally see
Ding.
a Molly Crew, not a Molly Crew,
Molly Hatchet.
Molly Hatchet album. Though when you were, 13 years old in the 7th grade in 1982 and saw a Molly Hatchet album, you're like, oh God, I have no idea what this is, but this is now my favorite band. I'm bringing this home and I'm going to love it forever.
I remember being like 13, being in Strawberries on Washington Street in Boston. As a 13-year-old, you're shopping for new music. You don't know what it is, and you're going by covers and what your impression of the record is. And I remember being at a rack where there was the new Iron Maiden next to Working Man's Dead by the Dead, and I'm like, awesome monster, cool cowboys, like that. What should I do? And I wound up with the Dead, and like, who knows where my
you split the
musical
difference,
life
and you got the
would've-
Village People,
Exactly.
and it was fabulous.
Exactly.
All right, so one of the first things you said is like over the years there's been a lot of lineup changes, which we'll get to in a second. But as far as like lineup changes go, Spinal Tap, documentary, rockumentary, comedy, or a tragedy?
All of the above. Yeah, it's
I mean, when you talk about lineup changes, it's one of the things when I saw Spinal Tap in high school, it was the funniest movie ever. I watched it every day with my best friend in high school.
absolutely.
A year and a half later, I'm in a band, and I realize there's nothing funny about this movie at all.
No, and then it goes beyond that again, where it becomes there's no choice but for it to be funny again because it would just be too tragic otherwise.
And so when you had lineup changes, so the same group's been together, you said about 5 years now?
Yeah, when I started the band, it was a trio based. I just found two guys on Craigslist that had nothing in common musically.
Hey, Joe, you found two guys on Craigslist, too.
Shut up.
But it worked out okay for a couple years. But then, as life started intruding, they were younger guys, and as they got married, one of them left. And then my brother was in another band at the time that was sort of on its ending days. The guitarist was moving to Vegas, so it so happened that our drummer left at the same time that my brother's band was ending. So my brother joined. That was like 9 years ago. Right at the beginning, and then slowly over the years, it was just like as people would leave because of jobs or moving or kids or whatever situation it would be, I've been playing a couple years and we have friends in other bands and this guy's available, that guy's available. So through the years, it's sort of become a thing where we are now like a bunch of 6 friends that have all known each other from other bands and other things for a while, and it's pretty cool. We do have a sort of Spinal Tap-ish situation in the bass category, is that we've probably had 19 bassists, even though our current bassist has been in the band for 8 years.
Any spontaneous combustions?
He works as a carpenter and a cabinet builder, so at least once a year he severs a finger or a limb or bicep bursts, or like it's insane the number of serious injuries this guy has had in 10 years. But he has like the constitution of a horse and heals in like 2 months from these things that would like otherwise make somebody else, crippled for life as far as bass playing goes. But in the times that he's recovering, we've had to have fill-ins, and we've probably had every bassist in town play with us at some point or other.
Jay, I don't know what it's like having problems with a bass player in a band. It's not like so. Dave has, Dave and I have played a number of shows together. This is about Dave, so I'm not making it about us, but I've always had the same guitarist and singer, and I play drums. But over the 25 years, we've literally had about 12 bass players. And Joe, who's never played an instrument in his life, there's been more than one time, and we're talking at Saturday night headlining gigs at the Rat, where it's been Dan, I, and Joe jumping around with an unplugged bass, which never hurt the Sex Pistols, which is kind of where we stole the idea. And somewhere along the line, when I was living in LA, and Dan would come out to do shows, or I'd come back here, he's like, my buddy, Dave's going to sit in with us, and blah, blah, blah. And Dave, I'm like, oh, yeah. I don't remember anybody. And he's like, no. And he said, and this is, I'm not being a nice guy, because anybody who's known me for more than 5 minutes, one of the reasons we have trouble keeping bass players is I'm such a prick. It's like...
wait till you hear next week's co-host, because he'll probably kick me out, or I'll spontaneously combust.
No, it's not a matter of kick you out. You can't fire me because I quit situations more often than not. But Dan was like, the only problem with jamming with you is you're a much better musician. So he's going to really take a step down to play with us. So that's how we've known, and I don't know how many gigs we've played, but it's been too long since we have.
Yeah.
Your brother is your drummer. Is it interesting? Is it fun? How many times have you had a Gallagher's situation, from Oasis? Where
it never gets physical, just because we're both too lazy to fight. But in terms of tension, it gets pretty high at times. Just they say there's two kinds of drummers. Good drummers play the drums. Bad drummers. Oh, no, what is it? Good drummers play the drums. Great drummers keep their song ideas to themselves. He's a very good drummer. He has a lot of song ideas, which is good. And it helps in the long run. But there's times where, when you're trying to hammer something out and I have my ideas how it should go and he has his ideas how it should go, that'll lead to some tension sometimes. But it's been good. We've sort of learned to work together pretty well over the years.
There's a great documentary. There's a couple of great documentaries on the Police, and I remember seeing it. And Stuart Copeland one time talking about the breakup of the Police, and he said you look he had a solo career, and he wanted more and more songs of his coming into the mix, and, as did the guitarist at this thing. And it is we all had 10 songs on an album, and I wanted 2 or 3 or 4 songs, and he wanted 2 or 3 songs. And he goes, and you go back and you look at my solo career and what I've put out, and you realize why most of the songs were stinks. He had he had that awakening, and it's the same. When I jammed with Dan forever, early on I would have a couple ideas, and I mean just a line here or there that snuck its way in. One time we wound up at the studio and had an extra 3 minutes of tape, so we made up something I think Rod wrote a song about donuts that I sing, and every time it comes out, I tell the boys okay, this is the only song of the 100 plus I've recorded that Papa's allowed to sing on. Here it is, and it's awful. So yeah, I agree.
That was your octopus's garden, essentially.
Yes, it was my. But it's true. It's if everybody knows what they're contributing, that's good. And I always tell people, it's when people are oh, I want to learn to play drums. Can you count to 4? You can replace me in about 2 days of really working hard and drinking. So, but have you ever had a moment where one of you has said, "This is why Mom never loved you"?
No, not really. We joke about that. We'll say, "You ruined Easter," while we're talking about writing a set list or something like that. But no, I mean, we're pretty cool. We actually we are friends as much as we are brothers, and as much fun as it would be to say that we battle. I mean, there's tension for sure, but we get along and we work well together.
So are you guys more Spinal Tap or Rod Torfison's Armada featuring Herman Menderchuk?
Wow. I'm going to go with Spinal Tap, I guess.
How many people in the band have left over fighting over the same girl?
None.
How many guys have left the band for starting to go with the same guy?
All of them.
Okay, that's 2017. And how is the Boston music scene now? Because you've been playing shows since the early 90s. So you're talking 3 decades of playing shows.
Yeah.
And when we started back then, I mean, it was you are literally fighting to get opening gigs for bands like Buffalo Tom, the Pixies. Now this was the hub of shoegazer rock.
It's definitely come a long way, both down and up in different ways since those days. I mean, like, I feel like back in those days, I guess I was kind of clueless and like just was happy to be playing it all. So I really, I was sort of on my way out of the scene. I was about to drive cross country, so I wasn't really part of the like hustling for the big gigs at the time. I just sort of was, let's rehearse a lot and play a gig every once in a while in those days. But for the last 10 years with the Rationales, it's really apparent. I mean, a lot of the clubs have closed. The big thing is just that sort of with the monoculture and everybody having whatever interests them available to them, nobody goes out like they used to. I mean, you can draw people to a big show. You can be on a show opening for somebody that's big, has a big crowd. You can stumble onto a big crowd once in a while if it's a magic night and they would just happen to be in the area. But it's not like it used to be where you could just count on people being out on the weekends at the clubs. You really have to work to get people into the clubs. They have to be there because they want to see the bands that are playing. It's, even like New York still is a little bit like it used to be here, where people will just be out because they hear there's music at a club. And some of the smaller rooms, Toad or Plow and Stars, that happens still, but they're such small rooms that it's hard to get a big band in there. But things like TT's, Middle East,
kills me that TT's gone.
So bad that TT's is gone. But the bigger clubs along those lines, it's strictly just what the band draws, because there's no FNX anymore. There's no Phoenix anymore. There's no, the Dig is the Dig and whatever. It's, there's still a lot of people that are working and like promoting the scene, the radio people, the blogs blogs come and go.
That couple quick things. One of the things that I used to love that's dead is the print. The fan scenes were great.
Yep.
And you would pick up a fan scene every time you would go to a club. There'd be 3 or 4 different fan scenes, some of them glossy and polished and well done, some of them honestly almost out of like, the local college radio stations.
Yep.
Xerox machine and stuff like that, but they were great, and they were a great way to promote bands, great way to look up. I mean, and at the time, and this is how old we are, we're really dating ourselves. But literally, there was no like Googling a new band. Like, you heard about new bands from these fan scenes and from these. And one of the things that was great about the era that we came up with was college radio in Boston and how accessible it was to bands. And one of the things that we used to do, and you've probably done, funny enough, through a comedy show that Joe and I did, we met a guy who was a producer at Tufts University, Paul Sarney, who would let us come in and play live. They had a live show, and you had these great gear, great engineers, and before you went to the studio and spent an ungodly amount of money back then, like $25 an hour to record, you would get a really great feel of what was working, what wasn't working, trying new stuff, at the same time getting some listeners. Is that scene still out there?
It is. WMFO and Tufts is still doing that. They still have the Mikey D show where they bring in full bands. And
that was the guy's show we played on. We're talking 20 plus years ago.
He passed away actually like 10 years back, 15 years back, but they still do the show. And in his honor, the studio's named for him. But it's still there, and it's still cool to do. You lug your stuff up those 3 flights of stairs and play on the attic. But you always get like a great sounding disc out of it.
It was great.
It's really cool. Problem is just like internet radio, college radio. It sort of has segregated itself into, you have ERS over here, which might as well be WBCN from 1990 in terms of how exclusive they are and how close to a commercial station they are. And then on the other end, you have the stations that are awesome and accessible to people, but might not have the same listenership. I mean, like, there's still great local shows. Sunday nights, there's WZLX has Boston Emissions, 2-hour show every Sunday night that people are listening to because it's ZLX. AAF still does Bay State Rock on Sunday nights as well. There's still stuff. It's like the infrastructure that used to be there is still there. It's just, there's just less people naturally gravitating towards it. you know, like guitar rock just isn't what it was, it seems, for people.
And at this point, how much is this is still just fun, and how much of it is work? Like you have all, and we'll post it all, we'll get it out of you, like all the social media stuff. So it's great that the barrier to entry or the way to reach people is a lot lower. I mean, you used to have to really fight to get in a fan scene. You used to really have to fight to get any kind of write up in the Phoenix and stuff like that. But now, you know, it's a lot more accessible to get out there. But how do you get new listeners? How do you get people who, you know, it's still the friend to friend thing, and you have all these social media, but how much time do you have to spend rehearsing, trying to get gigs versus the other end of it? Or is it will take care of itself, we just want to do this? Where are you right now as far as that?
And for us, it's definitely just we love doing this. We're trying to make the best music we can make, doing it for our own benefit. I mean, we obviously want more people to hear it, and we want to get bigger and better shows and open for people and do all the great things, but that's not why we're doing it. Because if you're doing it for any reason other than that you love it nowadays, you know, you see it. You see, like, young bands will come in and play the Rumble in their first couple of years of existing. You know, who was it? Was it you guys who had the song about everybody's about to play the Rumble and break up or get a record deal? I think Dan had a song that actually had those lyrics,
right,
and that was 20 years ago. But you know, it's anybody that thinks they're going anywhere is either going to wind up sad or stopping at some point.
Well, Joe and I started this podcast for the quick money.
Yeah, that's what it is.
We're in
quick
this
money,
for the
quick money and chicks.
Yeah.
But there's still a lot of reward to doing it. And the cool thing in the Boston scene is that the people who stick with it and the people who are doing it are sort of this own community of people that everybody knows each other. A lot of people go out to each other's shows, and that's sort of a whole subset of it. Is, you know, the Rumble now is more of a festival than a competition, because you go for 6 nights in April and you see all the new bands in town for 6 nights, but it's like everybody is there for those 6 nights, and you're just hanging out and sort of all coming together, and that happens throughout the year at different people's shows. So the scene is really great, and I feel like it's, I mean, friendlier is sort of a sillier word, but it's much friendlier than it used to be in that regard. Like, what I remember from 91, 92, 94, whatever, when we were doing it then, was, like you say, the barriers were much higher for everything, including the other bands you played with. You'd play a 4-band bill, and 3 of them would be looking down at your nose at you because you weren't wearing the right kind of leather or the right kind of guitar amp or this or that. Now people are just like, if you're playing good songs and you're not a jerk, you know, then you can be in, you know.
I thought people looked down at us because we weren't sober and couldn't remember our own songs, and half the time ended up doing Sebadoh covers because that was the only thing that we could remember.
That might be true, but it was also cool.
Yeah, it was a lot. But so the scene is still there. Is it when you are, you know, whoever you're playing with tonight? I mean, you get a lot of, like, you know, we're not in our 20s right now. So when you see, like, young people in their 20s and stuff like that, do you want to interact with them after the show? Or do you want to think, oh my God, I'd rather be doing anything but talking to somebody who's 20 right now?
It doesn't even occur to me. Like, I've never been an ageist person. I talk about this a lot with my fiance, and just, like, in life in general, in terms of, like, office culture these days. Anything culture, it seems like younger people are really aware of age differences. Like, when I was 25, at work, there was a 40-year-old guy. What do you listen to? And if he said cool music, then he was cool to talk to. Like, it wasn't like, oh, he's an old guy, he likes old guy music. You know what I mean? It wasn't. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the scene, you very rarely, I mean, if you happen to be playing with a younger band, there'll be younger people out. They're not, you know, there'll be some who dig what they hear when you play, and if you're doing stuff that's, you know, interesting to them, then they're into it. But it's not, the situation of worrying about whether I'm talking to a 20-year-old doesn't present itself very often.
So before we talk, I want to talk about the new disc in a second, but of the 6 guys in the band, yourself included, who is most likely to cry at the movie Beaches?
Oh, God. I've honestly never seen it. I don't know who else would have seen it. I'll say Chad, just to bust his balls, because he deserves it.
Yeah, okay.
He's the movie guy, so he's probably seen it.
Tell me about Upstream.
It's our collection of 7 new songs. We recorded it last year. It was, I don't know, what about Upstream? We're really excited about it. We recorded at Q Division in Somerville, which is this legendary local studio that everybody from Buffalo Tom to Morphine back in the day to it's high quality studio, and the sound quality on this record is amazing. We're really psyched with how it came out sounding. And some of our favorite songs that we play are on this one. We've been playing a lot of these songs live for a year or three, and we all, we love these songs, and we see that people seem to like these songs, and we're really psyched to actually have decent recorded quality versions of them to share with people.
So when you play it tonight, it's not a bunch of people, I want to hear the old stuff. They know that, because that's the worst thing. It's like, and it's the worst thing even for me. Like every time I get to jam with Dan, it's like I want to play these past 100 songs. These next 100 songs are great, but I don't know them as well. Do you have that, or do people?
No, I mean, the people that come to see us often know what we do, know what we're about, and like I say, we've been playing these songs for a little while already anyway, so it's not like there's any, these aren't the old songs, but they're not exactly like the brand new, nobody's heard them before songs. We have a batch of like 20 brand new songs that nobody's heard yet that we're probably going to get right to pretty soon after this. But for our old stuff, we've been playing so long and so often, and so many people have had the chance to see us that I think they get that we've played the old stuff and now we're playing the newer stuff. And
other than the Middle East, which is your favorite club, which is you're playing tonight, what's your like two other favorite Boston clubs?
Two others,
Worcester. I know
it
Worcester's
could change any day, but I would say the Lizard Lounge is always a great room. It's a small, intimate downstairs basement kind of club. Only holds like 100 people. Great sound, great people. Love playing there. We've been playing Great Scott a bunch the last couple of years. It's sort of the last of the bigger, Middle East TTs sort of rooms. Tougher to get into. You play there less often than other places, but it's also good sound. My favorite place is the Sinclair, but almost impossible to get into unless you're opening for somebody big, because it's a very large room. And
And what club what are the two clubs you miss the most?
TT's for sure, and surprisingly, I never played there that often when it existed, but Precinct in Union Square, turns out that was always a really good room for us. Just like something about the location and confluence of events, whenever we played there, it seemed to be full, and people were always really into the show. That was a good room. Obviously, there's a stretch where somebody was doing shows at the Rosebud Diner in Davis Square, and that was awesome. She later went on to open the Club Radio, which lasted for a couple years. So that was a really cool thing that's over now as well. But
I still miss the Rat.
Yeah.
Like every time I drive by Kenmore, I'm still sad that there's like the condos there where that hole in the wall was it was such a classic, epic fallout shelter of a place. So tell us about the video that you guys did.
For the new record, we have a video up for the song Take a Ride With Me, which we had put out as sort of an advanced single about a year ago, and we wanted to do a video with it because it was just a digital download at that point, and we wanted to sort of, get some attention to it and have a video to go with it. And we just did it ourselves. It was sort of just a collection of footage of ourselves that we found on YouTube from gigs, spliced together with some weird effects and some road footage, since it's a driving song. And then when it was finished, I was like, there's not really enough going on here, so I put up a black sheet and just filmed myself lip syncing the song, which I swore I would never take part in or do. But so it's like this sellout video of me being Bono.
Give us a social media rundown, how everybody finds you.
We're on Facebook, obviously, which is Facebook.com/The Rationales. We're on Twitter @The Rationales. Our website is therationales.com. Our music, including this record, it's available on iTunes. It's available on Bandcamp. But if you go to our website, therationales.com, on the front page, there's links to all of our other web presence.
And what's your social security number and home address?
There you go.
Do you want us to play a song off of this? You want to play a song out?
Yeah, why don't we hear one of the songs on here, if you can?
Yeah. So tonight, Middle East Cafe, 8:00.
Yep.
Go there. Well worth the time. That's probably my favorite place that we've play. Like I'd say TT's was my all-time favorite, but the Middle East has always just been a staple. And I was there a month ago to see a band. I'm like, thank God it hasn't changed at all. Like nothing about it has changed. It has like the same vibe. Still has the best falafel sandwiches in town, and I honestly mean that. And somebody who spent 3 years in the Middle East, I can tell you the falafel sandwiches there are great. So what song are we going to play on this?
Let's do Climb the Ladder. It's a bit of a longer song. It's got this middle section where my brother sings lead vocals, which is a kind of unique thing for us. There's never been a song, I don't think, in our catalog where I wasn't the singer. So
nice.
Yeah, little duet.
So he doesn't completely fuck it all up like he did Easter.
Like he does everything.
All right, Dave, thank you so much for coming. Joe, you got anything?
Hey guys, I just showed up. What's going on? What are you guys talking about? What's going on? And everybody, that was Dave Mirabella from The Rationales. And now we're going to take you out with cut off his new album. What does that say? To play us out. What does that mean, to play us out?
Hey, don't forget.
You say I need to climb the ladder and just look at the number one. I'm driving home back to New Hampshire. God knows why I oversold it. The hope I wouldn't come undone. So bury me in autumn leaves and count the starlights one by one. And whenever the days grow short, then I feel the need to go. But I lied. It's not that you're falling short. It's just that you made me feel alone. So you feel overexposed. You lost the contrast in the sun. You wonder why you feel like